It says it's being live streamed.
All righty, and welcome back. We don't have a special guest today. Today it's just Nate and me. We are Nate and Simone. We talk all things marketing. And today we are talking about why guessing at your business problems keeps you stuck. You can't fix what you don't understand. And most business owners, if something is going wrong, they're trying to scale the symptoms, but they don't really understand the problem. So today we're talking about diagnosing before you prescribe the solution. What every founder should be asking themselves before they take action on their marketing. Okay, so let's jump into it. Hey, Nate.
Hello, hello, hello. Feels kind of lonely in here, doesn't it? We don't have a guest today.
I know it feels weird. It's been a while since it's just been the two of us.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's a good thing, It means that
Every so often.
we have yeah, we're making more friends. I think that's what that means. So, um, okay. So yeah, this is a good topic I think for today because it's about asking questions. I like to ask questions. I think it's that's how you learn things, right?
That's true.
Not being afraid to ask questions, and um, if you don't know something, then ask, right? So
Right.
unfortunately, I think that many people's experience, maybe in the growing up in school, I don't know about you, but this has been kind of my experience. Like questions were kind of like, shot down. You didn't want to look stupid by asking questions, So,
Yeah, yeah,
unfortunately, but it's actually like, it's okay if you don't know something. It's okay, that's
yeah.
fine.
It'd be a good
Um,
teacher would encourage asking questions no
yeah,
matter what the question was, because yeah. Um, and a lot of times what happens is you may be in a group situation, you're in a class or in a coaching program or something, and you want to ask a question, but you don't want to seem dumb. And so, but somebody
right.
else asked the same question, and you get the answer because they were brave enough to ask. And yeah, that's uh, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Like, what are these
Yeah.
questions that we need to be asking?
Yeah, exactly. So, first off, we like to talk about visibility, viability, and value. So we're going to frame the questions around those main pillars. Surprise, surprise, right? Um, so, and going along with that is, the part of the process that we follow is actually having an assessment, right? A deep dive, assessment that looks at what's going on in the business, where they're at now, taking kind of like a snapshot, right? And drilling down, seeing where they're at, and seeing
Yeah.
what's missing,
We
what,
need to know what's currently happening in your
yeah,
business before we
yeah,
can say, oh, well, we recommend this or we recommend that.
right.
Um, and yeah, as holistic marketers, these are things that most marketers don't do. They just, okay, well, you need ads or you need this or you need that. And it's
Yeah,
really let's see what's really going on before we say, oh, well, yeah, you need to be running Facebook ads,
exactly.
because that may not be true based on what's really going on in your business.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the people that you want to reach aren't on Facebook, for example. So just don't you just you're not doing it just because everybody else is, right? Um, okay, so visibility questions. Are we seeing the picture, the whole picture here? So unfortunately, as it is, a lot of business owners will operate on assumptions rather than having actual data to back it up. I feel like is a thing that I hear a lot, right? I'm doing this because I feel like, something, Um,
Yeah.
but, you know, a question that, you need to ask yourself is where are leads actually or really coming from? Okay. you might have it, you might feel like they're coming from a certain place, but are you actually tracking them? Do you actually know where your leads are coming from? Maybe it is, one single person that you talked to several months ago and they really liked what you had to say, and they've been telling people all about you and singing your praises, and you had no idea.
Mm.
That's unfortunate, right? Because here you are trying to spend money on lead generation. Meanwhile, it's this person over here, like talking.
It's
So
generating all the leads,
yeah, yeah. Um, how,
and
how are
they'd
you
be
how are
happy
you
with a
keeping track of
pizza.
that? Yeah, yeah. Um,
There goes that budget.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Mm.
And going along with that, another question to ask there is what messages that you are sending out there are actually resonating and which ones are not, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
because it might not be what you think. And
yeah,
this is quite the I think that's one of the biggest things that business owners need to look at. It's like what's actually making people move when it comes to your messaging. It could be something completely different than what you thought it was. From their perspective, they're looking at, they're looking at life, they're looking at their businesses, they're looking at things a different way from a different perspective than what you're looking at it from, right? So um
totally.
it's you gotta figure that out. Like, okay, what messages are resonating and what's not.
There's an endless number of stories, I think, of businesses who think that they've got it figured out and dialed in, as far as the messaging that they're putting out in ads, etc. When in reality, the customers are thinking about it, from a completely different perspective. I think there's one product. Oh my gosh, I heard about this recently. What was it? It was some product, maybe Simone. It was some product that the originators, the developers of this product, had intended for it to be used one way, but everybody, all the customers that were actually buying it were actually using it for something totally different. I can't remember what it was.
You know what? I heard that was actually how Viagra came to be.
Okay, okay. Well, yeah, wasn't that is that like a heart drug or something like that originally? Something along those lines? I can't remember
I
now.
can't remember, but they were developing it for a different purpose. But then I guess it was during the trials, it had this other totally different effect than what they were expecting it to have.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they started marketing it as a completely different drug
Yeah.
for a completely
Um,
different purpose. Yeah.
right, yeah.
And
Um,
there's other
n-
things too, like the slinky. There's things that were just kind of mistakes, and they decided, oh, wow, look at this,
yeah.
like silly putty.
Yeah, silly putty. Yeah, that's one.
Kids love it, but that was the person was trying to develop something else entirely, and
Yeah.
silly putty was an accident.
Yeah, and so it's like the despite the company's best intentions, their your customers might have a different one. Oh, that's what it was. It was the one I was thinking of was bubble wrap. Um,
Mm,
they had originally created bubble wrap as greenhouse insulation.
interesting.
Yeah,
Didn't
right.
know that.
But everybody was buying it and using it to ship things. So it's like finally they caught on, and a multi-billion dollar industry was born. But
Wow.
yeah,
You
right.
never know. So yeah, it really there's this thing that Myron Golden likes to say, he says to sell from the market, not from where you are. So
Yeah,
the market will tell you what they want to use your product for, if they want to use your product at all.
yeah. So this is
They
this is
have to
not
be the originators.
this is not quite the same thing maybe as messages resonating, but it is kind of in the same vein, right?
Yeah, it is.
Presumably these companies have developed the messaging around these products for the intended use that they had imagined,
Right.
right? Just and then people were using it despite that message, right? And they probably acquired customers that they weren't even thinking about because of that, you know.
Right.
And so,
Right. Imagine them going, they're going after, they're targeting a particular market or a particular market segment, but then, other people get a hold of it and it spawns a whole new market that the company didn't really think about.
yeah, yeah. Google's given me a whole list here. Play-Doh, bubble wrap, Slinky, Silly Putty, Frisbees,
Yeah.
apparently. Um, they were made by the Frisbee Pie Company for pie plates, I guess.
I do remember
um,
hearing about that. Yes.
Q-tips were originally made for cleaning babies and applying medication to wounds. Um, anyway, the list goes on. So, but think about what messages are resonating, which ones aren't, and really figuring that out. How do you figure that out? That's the question to ask too, going along with that. Okay, how consistent? Here's another question. How consistent is your brand experience across all your channels?
Mm.
I had one customer um, who had, and I'm not joking here, at least three different logos, two different Facebook pages with different, sets of colors and logos, um, and technically two URLs out there for this website.
Oh, wow.
Now, yeah, and
But
so
they had the one website. Is that
there
right?
was there was there was one main website, yes, but the URL, there were two URLs that were off by one S, like the letter S. So it can cause
Well, that
confusion, let's say.
I won't fault them for. Simply because if they want to catch the people who are mistyping their URL and
Yeah,
but they want to make sure that
yeah,
they come to the right place, cool. Two different logos though sounds a little bit weird.
three, three different.
Three
Yeah.
logos.
Hmm.
Three logos for the same
Same
business,
company, same business.
same
Yep.
company.
Different
That's really
colors, different
interesting.
style.
Really?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
really interesting.
yeah. So needless
That's
to
really
say,
interesting.
even
Sounds
even on their
confusing.
Facebook pages, it was different, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, they had lost access to the old URL and the old Facebook page. That was part of the problem, and so they were
Hmm.
still floating out there though. Yeah,
Isn't that very interesting? Because I don't know, I feel like your branding is your branding, right?
mm,
And if you lose your Facebook page, do you set a new one up under a different branding? Is that I'm wondering if that's what they did and
same
ended up
name,
with
different
multiple.
colors, different logo. So-
Maybe they were trying to fool Facebook into thinking that they were a different company.
No, they just lost access to the old one because somebody had, the one somebody who had worked for the company had access to it, and they left the
Mm.
company and then took the access with them, right? So problems.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that's another discussion for
yeah,
Todd, our resident cybersecurity guy.
yeah, 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 yes.
Yeah,
Consistency with procedures and that kind of thing. That's
absolutely.
definitely,
Yeah, don't let somebody run away with your Facebook password. That's crazy.
yeah.
Um,
Or
um,
control who it is that's creating the Facebook pages. I think that's
yeah, give them limited access. Like, yeah, they mm, wow. But
so
yeah,
yeah,
that's really
that's
interesting.
a big problem.
Three different logos.
Talk
And
about,
I'm
sending
wondering
a,
if losing the Facebook access precipitated the change in logo and branding,
it
look
was
and feel and
actually,
everything.
I think actually what happened
Or
was
was something else.
the URL, the previous URL, the previous web developer was kind of holding it for ransom, like saying,
Ah,
give
another
me this much
cybersecurity
money,
issue. Yeah.
right? But I think
Uh,
that company also had access to the old Facebook page. I think that was part of the, so those were connected.
hmm. Yep. That's another yeah, y'all need to call Todd
Big
if this is
problems.
happening to you, because yeah, putting systems in place where that doesn't happen, because you as the business, you need to own your assets. Don't
Yeah,
allow somebody else to walk away with your Facebook page, your TikTok, your website, all of that,
yeah.
and you don't have the passwords and you can't get in. That is, you
I,
want to be around for a while, whereas this person who's doing your website, um, they may be a good partner for right now, but
yeah,
they're they don't own the company. You should own that stuff. Those are your business assets.
yeah.
Anywho, I'm
And
gonna climb down off the soapbox now.
well, no, it's 100%. Because ultimately the reason here is because you are confusing your audience. You're confusing the people who
Absolutely.
want to buy from you. They don't know who you are. You're also confusing Google and search engines and things like that, right? Like
Yeah.
this happens with Google Business Profiles all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you go out, you set out to, best intentions to create your Google Business Profile, and like I had one client, their business name was virtually identical to another business in the same category, even,
Oh wow.
but like one was in Texas and one was in New York, and, but it was close enough that it was confusing the heck out of Google, and
Hmm.
so it didn't know who to show when it came to the Google Business Profile. And so
And
that
they
kind of
didn't base it
stuff.
on, well, I imagine if they base it on location, it's fine. But I guess if somebody just did a general search, then
Yeah.
they wouldn't know which one,
Yeah,
which one
you'd
to
have to
show.
type in precisely where the business was and to get that specific business to show up.
Yeah,
But how many people
wow.
are doing that? That's
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. I've seen
if you're
websites
near
where,
that, if you're location wise, if you're based in that area,
yeah,
then that increases the odds that you'll probably be shown the one that's closest to you. But
yeah. But if you're in Washington State,
right, all
and
bets
you
are
want to
off.
look up
Yeah,
one, like which one is it going to show you?
yeah,
Yeah. I've seen websites where the name is confusing enough that they would, on their homepage, they would say, we're this. Are you looking for these people? And they would put a link to the other person's website because the name was just so similar, which I think is just sad, to basically be the tour guide for sending people to somebody else's business
yeah,
rather than, capturing that attention and having those people land on your website intentionally.
yeah.
Mm,
That actually happened to the other client I was talking about because they were
mm.
the business names were so similar. There was apparently the other business got involved with a some kind of a there was a scam attached to that business where people were texting people saying that they were from that business and the confusion was onto the other business.
Boy.
Yeah, it was talk about a mess. So to the point
Oh,
where the
that's
other
terrible.
business had to put a disclaimer on their homepage that said, "We are not this business,"
Mm,
and any text that comes from this business is not from us,
yeah.
Yeah. So,
What was it? Uh, there was a politician that had I don't know if it was Trump or somebody else, but they had a rally in front of what they thought was a hotel
oh yeah,
and
that was
ended up sending
Giuliani.
all the traffic to that hotel. Or no, to that business.
It was in
And
front of the
it
Four Seasons
the
Landscaping
Four
Company.
Seasons landscaping company, right?
Everybody thought it was the Four Seasons Hotel, but it was in front of the Four
Right.
Seasons Landscaping. Yeah, that was
That is how
hilarious.
that was funny. So yeah, they did like a whole campaign around it and took advantage of all the attention, which I thought
Yeah,
was pretty cool.
yeah, it's a great idea. Um, okay, so another question to ask about visibility. And I guess this is kind of going along what you said, who actually owns the customer relationship in the business? That's a good question to ask too.
Yeah,
Um, the customer relationship is the thing that is probably most valuable about the situation, right? So,
absolutely. It kind of goes along with what I was saying earlier. Before we got on camera, I had mentioned how a new LinkedIn post that I have put up, it may be coming out tomorrow, but it was precipitated on the fact that a client that I'm onboarding gave me his email marketing platform login, and his instructions were to, I can keep the list of names or I can get rid of them. It doesn't matter. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, it does. That's that. All of those emails represent a relationship, and those relationships are at different stages. And you, as the business owner, the founder, you could be pivoting, you could be doing something new. My feeling is, at the very least, send them an email and say, hey, you signed up for this. I've decided to change and I'm going to do this other thing now. And give them the opportunity, give them the choice to either follow you or unsubscribe. But don't just delete them. That is not just a list. All of those email addresses represent a person who has either raised their hand to say, yes, I want to hear from you. I want more information. I'm interested. You have what I need to make my life better. Or they're a person who has purchased from you in the past and, could possibly offer you testimonials, referrals, whatever. I always tell people there's money in your list. Don't let them go.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I guess in
yeah.
that case, that kind of, goes into, value. That is part of the value of the business, right? Your list.
Absolutely. Companies
Um,
pay lots of money to get access to databases
oh yeah,
of email addresses, valid email addresses, phone numbers, names, company.
yeah,
This is what Apollo's business is all based on, right? This
yeah.
website, Apollo, where
Hmm.
you can download lists of business owners, lists of people, lists of executives, whatever, because that information is extremely valuable. Facebook is making billions of dollars off of data.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
About you. Um,
about us.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Every time you log on, every time you surf the web, you visit a website, you're providing Facebook with data. Most websites out there have a metapixel on their site. And so, yeah, Facebook is following you everywhere you go.
yes,
Uh,
yeah. Along with
but that data is extremely
innumerable
valuable.
others,
Yeah.
um,
And Google
especially in
too.
the
Yeah,
U.S. Especially in the
yeah,
U.S. You're being tracked by
absolutely.
so many different things. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
Your
absolutely.
credit card history. How do you think your credit cards make money on you when you are a good customer and you constantly pay your credit card bill down before they're able to charge you interest? They're still making money on you by selling your data to
Yeah.
other companies. Yeah.
So I think it behooves us as small business owners to take the data that we have seriously, the data that we collect from our customers and our leads, take that seriously. In that database is information that tells us, like, the behavior of our leads, the behavior of our clients, what they want, what they need. We need to take that seriously. Bigger companies
Yeah.
are taking it seriously and they're making billions of dollars off of it.
Oh, yes. This is
We
called
need to do the same thing.
first party owned data. And there's
Yeah,
nothing more valuable than this, really, as far as data collection is concerned. Um,
absolutely.
this is what people pay big bucks for. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so very, very, very valuable. So
absolutely.
unfortunately, a common mistake that occurs, when it comes to visibility with business owners, not only are they deleting customers when they shouldn't be? But they are they're equating their activity in their business with clarity. So uh, being busy in this case doesn't necessarily mean that you're being effective, right?
Yep.
And unfortunately, a lot of business owners think that. I think it maybe this is an American thing too. I've read, there's actually an article on Harvard Business Review about this recently, where they interviewed a bunch of business owners, and the consensus was, yes, we need to think more strategically about the business. And the question was, well, why not? Why aren't you? And the answer almost universally was, we're too busy.
Busy.
And
Yeah.
because busyness is almost like next to godliness when it comes to
And
business
yeah, for a
in
lot of people it
in the
is.
US, the
Yeah.
more busy
If you
you
don't look
are,
busy, yeah,
the
then oh, what are
more
you doing?
important
You're
you
not
are, right?
effective. You're not productive. You're not
Yeah.
this, you're not that, right? And yeah.
You're equating busyness with importance is
Mm-hmm. And which
yeah.
which then, kind of boosts your status.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
But
but
really,
in reality, that's not true.
you're shooting yourself in
If
the
you
foot.
can, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're not taking the time that you need necessarily to, like Michael Gerber says, to work on the business, not just in the business. Of
Exactly.
course, you have to work in the business and at some points, especially at the beginning, but you also want to make sure that you are taking time out to look at your business from a 10,000-foot view, strategize end to end, ask yourself these questions. And then also a lot of us, like, we don't want to just be busy. Like, we didn't start our businesses so we can be busy. We started our businesses so we could have a good life. And
Yeah.
so if you're just busy all the time,
Yeah.
um, that then you're going against what you really started your business for.
Quality of life plummets
Yeah.
potentially.
You're
Um,
just a worker bee, but you're working for a bad
yeah.
boss now.
You're yeah, you. Yeah.
Right, you.
You're your own worst boss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so the point here, visibility is about seeking truth in your business, right? And amongst your customers, not just, traffic. And if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Okay. Okay, let's keep going on
Get
here.
quit.
Let's get
Mhm.
into viability. Viability. What can you deliver on what you promise? Like the saying goes, I don't know who said it, but I heard it somewhere and it stuck in my brain. You better be able to deliver on the promises your marketing has made, right?
That's right. I said
And so,
that's the job of operations, right?
yeah.
Do you have a good operations system
And don't
going on
blame
in your
marketing if you
business?
can't.
Right, right. It's like y'all need to talk to each other.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
like, take off one hat, put on the other hat.
yeah, yeah,
Have a conversation with each other. What are you saying out there in the public? Then you're telling leads and telling prospects.
yeah,
So you want us to actually, yeah, let's work on that. Let's work on that messaging.
yeah.
Because
So in this
your
case, yeah,
internal
something is
operations got to be able
definitely
to do it, deliver that.
askew, right? Um,
Mhm.
the bottleneck in this case isn't necessarily leads, right? That's presumably marketing's job.
Mhm.
It could be in the delivery of the product or the service, whatever it is, right?
There can be a
And
problem of too many leads too.
oh,
Like,
absolutely,
if
absolutely, that can
you have
sink you.
too
Yeah.
many leads coming in and you're not able to sell them all or handle them all, um,
You're damaging your
then you
brand image in that
absolutely
case.
cannot. Yeah,
Yeah.
then you absolutely can't deliver on your messaging. So
The
your
yeah.
systems have to be able to handle the leads that are even coming in.
Yep. And in that case, the delivery isn't even necessarily in the final product or the final service output, whatever it is. The
Hmm.
delivery in that case is simply keeping in touch with them, keeping them informed, onboarding them, giving them a nice, smooth experience. That is part of your delivery too, whether or not you think of it as
Having
such.
a big enough sales team to actually even talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I see these ads that they say that, oh, what if your calendar looked like this? And they've got a screenshot of a block of a calendar, and it's like every single slot on that calendar is full. And I'm thinking,
Hmm.
when do you eat?
Yeah.
Because that might look good for a team of lots of salespeople who can handle all of those calls. But if you're a 1, 2 person team, that can be extremely overwhelming.
Yeah. Um,
And
yeah.
then once you do sell them, can you support the number of clients you get?
Well, what is your throughput, right? How many can you support at any given time, And
Yeah, I'll ask clients that every so often, like, since you're a one-man team, you're working on your own, how many clients can you reasonably handle? What's your capacity? That's something to really think about. And especially when you're thinking about like what your lead channel is going to be.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, so some questions to ask here in this case when it comes to viability. What's falling through the cracks between your sales and your fulfillment? So once you've succeeded and they've said yes, okay, send me the bill. What's falling through the cracks at that point? Are you kind of like just kind of letting your customer fend for themselves, or are you creating an experience around
Hmm.
that situation? And it
Yeah.
can
Is the
be
transition
tuned.
smooth?
Yeah,
Are they getting a
yeah,
good experience, a quick win,
yeah.
or do they
And
have
it
to
can mean
wait
the
in line?
difference doing that and concentrating on that and making it optimized and a memorable experience can mean the difference between you having to go out and finding a new customer and one who is referred to you by this customer because of this great experience that you gave them, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because this is their first impression, really, of getting getting to know you on the other side of their payment. What's
right.
what's that process like?
But in reality, this process started the first time you met with them.
True,
So,
true. Hmm.
but really, they became a customer when they agreed to meet you, you
Yeah.
know, and you got them on that first call. They haven't even given you money, but they're your customer, right? This is the mindset you need to have, by the way. But
Yeah, that's a
anyway,
good, what, that makes so much sense because if they're willing to spend a half an hour to an hour with you,
mhm,
um, talking with you, that's an hour they could be making money somewhere else.
right.
They could be
That is an
preparing a talk.
expense. Yeah,
They could
that's
be preparing a TED talk
yeah.
to talk to like, several million people. But no, they're
Hmm.
spending this time with you. So they
Yeah, I
have
mean, there's
identified you as a person who could potentially solve a big problem for them.
yeah, was it is it Tony Robbins that sells his time for like 20 grand an hour or something like that? Somebody
Yeah.
like there's people out
Myron
there that do
Golden does
this.
the same thing. He says um, he was he it was like 5,000 an hour, and then somebody bought like 8 hours, and he was like, "Oh my goodness, that's terrible. I don't want to spend all that
Need to
time."
raise my prices.
So he raised the price to 25,000, and
Yeah.
now it's at 40,000
Oh
an
my
hour.
gosh. Wow, there we
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So, you better come with your
Time
questions
is
ready
money.
because you're
Yeah.
you're spending good money for his attention,
Hmm.
focused on you and your issue.
But when we're booking calls with people who may be potential customers, they're maybe they're technically prospects. they are giving you their time, and that has value. So it's
It
best that you
does.
take that into consideration and you know,
Especially if you're a
look at
person
that.
who really wants to work with established people and more affluent people. More affluent people, they may not care about the money, but they do care about their time. So for them to
Yeah,
give you their time,
it's a
they
finite
are,
resource.
yeah, it's a finite resource. They're not going to get it back. Then they see meeting with you as valuable. So
Yeah.
absolutely look at it as
So
valuable.
it
Mm,
behooves you to have, full respect of that and, not wasting their time, right? And
absolutely.
having a orchestrated experience around
Hmm.
that. All right, so do we have documented systems, or are we relying on memory and good intentions? I see this a lot in customers that I talk to or people that I talk to. Our CRM consists of whatever I can remember and whatever scraps of paper I have in filing cabinet over here. So that's, for example. Um, yeah, that's not much to go on there. Um,
Yeah, having that documentation is crucial. Who is it that I heard recently somebody said, the things especially that you need to document are things that are repetitive, things that can be highly that have a high likelihood of human error. And oh, there was one other thing. Um, but absolutely, those things need to be documented. And you don't necessarily have to document them in the same way that everybody else does. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a filing cabinet with a lot of files in it. It could be videos where your your team members are documenting their processes, not because you're going to fire them someday, but because if they go on vacation, you want somebody else to be able to fill in and let that person have a great vacation without everything falling apart and you calling them every 5 minutes to find out how to do this and how to do that.
yeah, and this is again it touches on the value of a company because those assets, how we do things become part of the value of the business. If it's documented, it's just one less thing that the next business owner has to worry about.
Yeah,
You're making their life easier and they'll probably be willing to pay you more for it. So
yeah. Or the
something to
family
take into
member you're
consideration.
passing the business on to, or
Make it
or
easy
the
on them,
person who's stepping in,
Yeah.
yeah, after you retire, who's buying you out, or your partner who might be buying you out.
Yeah.
um
And there's
yeah.
so many tools out there to make that easy for you nowadays. I mean,
Yeah.
I think about we didn't have what uh what 30 years ago, even 30 years ago. Yeah, we didn't have really easy online video recording or
Yeah.
you know screenshots. Yeah, okay, but putting all that together definitely didn't have AI. So
Yeah. I mean,
I
and
mean,
even now with just taking screenshots of your screen, I don't think we had 30 years ago. Like
we
that
might
just
have, but
came
it
with
was
the
very
computer.
rudimentary,
Yeah.
clunky, and it was a chore probably to get those into like a document to make them useful. So
Mm.
yeah, there's just been so many improvements in that regard.
It's
It's
like open
crazy.
up your Microsoft Word and create your bullet points,
Talk to
document your
AI and
steps.
have it do it for you, like
Now I know, right? It's so wonderful.
it's wild.
I use the AI note taker app for my Zoom meetings, and I'll put it into Notebook LM and say, okay, generate me a list of next steps that we talked about in this
Yeah.
meeting.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
That's a
um,
lifesaver for projects.
it's so wonderful, so wonderful. In a couple of years, we're going to wonder, like, what did we do before AI?
Can't remember, don't want to. Yeah, yeah.
Life was so different.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Another question. If one key person left tomorrow, what breaks? So that's going
Hmm.
on to
That's
documenting,
something to pay attention to. Yeah. Make
what's
sure
going
it's
to, well, the wheel's going
documented.
to fall off.
Yeah, we don't want
And
that.
then going along, kind of elaborating on what we talked about first, um, with delivery, how consistent is the your client's experience from start to finish? And that consistency derives from the documentation, right? This is the standard set of things that we do every time. So that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's think about how much time that's saving you. I love it when I can get into a what I call like the flow state, right? I know that this is going to happen, this is going to happen. I could just kind of do things. I don't have to think it through. I love not having to do that. I think this is why, people like Mark Zuckerberg, and and oh gosh, the the old CEO of Apple, Steve Jobs, they wear the same outfit like every day, right? Because they don't want to
Hmm.
have to think about it. They don't want to have to think about it.
Yeah. You
It's
don't have to
just
make that
SOP.
decision. Decision's already made. Yeah.
Because you're only given a certain amount of willpower and decision making energy per day, so you don't want to waste that, right? um, and so um, having this consistency around the client experience saves you from having to think through, okay, what do I have to do now? Oh gosh, I forgot all about that. If it's
Yeah.
if it's standardized, if it's consistent, it's something that gets done. And if you can automate it, whoa, that is the holy grail, right? Make it even easier.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Automate and delegate.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, a common mistake in this case here is that the business owners, founders, they assume that doing more will fix inefficiency when actually it could end up amplifying the chaos. So doing more isn't always the answer. Maybe doing it well, right? I think I took a logic course in college, and one of the things that the teacher said that always stuck out to me was, it's not enough to have a knife, right? You need to have one that cuts well. Like
Yeah. So true.
so.
So true.
Um,
Especially for founders. This is something that I heard Ryan Dice say. He's like the first person I ever heard of, like with digital marketing.
yeah.
And he said, like, founders should not be doing more. Founders, doing more productivity is for employees. Founders should be looking to get leverage.
Hmm. Thinking strategically, looking at things from
Yes,
the 30,000 foot view, seeing how everything
absolutely.
fits together, what's not working, and try and
The founder needs
putting
to be able to
resources into
see
fixing
the
that.
whole
Right?
picture, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the employees tend to own their position, their one job, their the actions that they take. But
Yeah.
the founder needs to be able to see everything.
Hmm.
And you can't do that if you're focused on the minutia.
You don't scale chaos, you scale structure.
Yeah.
All right. Good. So, um, value. Questions about value. Is your business worth owning? That's probably the first question you should
Hmm.
ask yourself. Um, So could here's the first question. Could this business run without me for 30 days? That's
That's
the
a very good question.
30-month or the 30-day test, right?
Yeah.
Stepping away for a few days, a few weeks, a month, maybe 3 months. See if everything holds together while you're gone.
That's that
That
the challenge that Mike Michalowicz lays out in his book
yeah,
Clockwork. He's
yeah,
like, you know, 12 months, 18 months, book a vacation. Book a month-long
yeah,
vacation and it'll be a vacation where you're away, no email, no phone, no connections to the job, you know.
yeah.
And so between now and then,
Mhm.
let's clockwork this business and make it so that when you do leave, you can feel good about, well, no founder is going to feel great about doing this the first time, but you'll be able to do it knowing that you've put some processes in place, you put systems in place that can work without you. So that
Yeah.
really is a great challenge. I love that challenge.
Um, Going along with that, is your revenue recurring or are you reinventing it every month? Are you having to
Yeah.
go back out there and find new
Starting at
projects,
zero every
new
month.
clients? That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that is a
Um,
problem.
that makes it rough
That
on the
means,
next person that might want to buy your business, right? Like, huh,
right?
do I really
That
want to
means
do all
that
that work?
pipeline is not working. No,
Yeah,
the
there
leads
is.
aren't
Yeah,
consistent, clients aren't consistent. Yeah.
yeah.
You don't want to start at zero every month.
Are we retaining clients, or do we know why they stay or leave? This is also crucial information. Um,
It
client
comes back
retention.
to working from the market. What does the market want? So, and I think a lot of people assume, a lot of founders, a lot of business owners, they assume they know what their clients want, but they never really ask them. So
Yeah,
this is a good question to ask them. Like, so what made you choose us?
and
Oh, you're
it's
leaving? Why are you
rough.
leaving?
Yeah, it's
Why are
rough
you
if
canceling?
yeah, it's rough if you are the business owner trying to reach out to the client to ask them why they left you as well, because
Yeah,
are they going to answer? There are
true.
ways around that. There are companies that do that. We talked with Tom Vanderwall on here a while back. Yeah, that's what his company does, right?
Hmm.
And so you can hire companies that will, do exit interviews for clients that are churning and trying to stem that flow, you know, figure
Yeah,
out what's
and
going on.
canceling subscriptions. I see a lot of like software platforms, a lot of SaaS platforms are automating that process of asking, you hit that cancel button and they say, "Oh, we're sorry you're leaving. Will you tell us why?" And
Yeah.
and there's a list of things that you
We'll
can
give you a
answer.
$20 gift certificate to Starbucks or something if you answer the question or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Or we'll give you a discount if you decide to stay,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
to try and get you to not leave. Um, But yeah, they want to know, why are you leaving? That's very
Hmm.
good information for them to help them um to provide better service and to give you what you really want rather than what they think you want.
Yeah. I had a experience recently with a business where I was dissatisfied with the service I received and made it apparent. So
You let
um,
your voice be heard.
I did on their Google Business profile and also went to their website and like filled out
Oh
that
wow. Oh, you were really
I was that
unhappy. It's
guy.
like,
I was that guy. But
I need to tell you multiple times. Okay.
that's right. Unfortunately, most of your customers are not going to do that. They're just gonna poof, be gone, and you'll never know why.
Yeah.
If you don't have
And then they'll
a
gossip about
way,
you.
right, exactly. This is especially in a small town. Oof, that can
Yeah.
get rough real fast.
Um,
Um, so anyway, yeah. Okay, another question. Is this business attractive to a buyer or investor, or is it just a high-paying job? Or hopefully it's a high-paying job, but but anyway,
right. There's a lot of
um,
founders out there not doing so well.
mhm.
Um,
Once
they
you
may be
break down the
making,
number of hours, yeah,
yeah, they
yeah,
may be making a little bit of a profit, but yeah, it's all going back into the business. It's not necessarily helping their lifestyle much. Yeah, there's a lot of that happening.
yep.
Um, yeah, and I think that goes back to, um, is it can you leave for 30 days and the business still keep going? if you can't leave, you can't
Yeah.
take a break for 30 days. This is a job. It is not a
Yeah.
high functioning, self functioning business. It's
Mhm.
not a well run system.
And
If
what
the
is a
revenue
business?
stops when you stop, yeah,
Yeah. What is a business if not a system, right? This is
right.
uh this is the thing. If there's something out of whack, the system doesn't work, just like a car. So, all right.
Absolutely.
Um, so a common mistake here when it comes to value is that you have business owners who focus only on growing the business, but not necessarily working on the solid foundation that's going to make it durable and make it last for years and years, right?
Yeah.
There's an endless number of stories of businesses that poof, they took off. They have all these customers, all this revenue coming in, but they're bleeding cash. They're not really making a profit, and they're causing themselves and their workers a lot of headaches because their fulfillment can't keep up, and
Mhm.
that causes all kinds of problems. You might feel like, oh, we're really super busy, so that's a good problem to have. Okay, yeah, maybe to some extent, but
Yeah, to an
gotta watch
extent.
out, you know.
Um, yeah, you want happy clients, not just uh,
Yeah,
busy bee employees who are just working overtime trying to fulfill orders or you know
yep.
provide the services. Um, this this happened. I've heard that like this happens several times with like businesses that appeared on the Oprah show. They'd appear on the Oprah show, or she'd pull out a box and like, oh, these are my favorite things, and
Oh,
and then you'll
without
have
telling
people
them.
rushing to the site. And I did hear that after a while, like her producers had to start asking people, like, are you ready?
Mm,
Because they had to make sure that they were ready.
yeah.
Because if she pulls your product out and says, this is my favorite
T
Afghan
10 million
ever,
orders in the morning. Yeah.
yeah, you know,
Yikes.
one day you're barely getting any visits to your website. The next day, it's like 3 million people are visiting your site all in an hour. Next thing you know,
Crashes
it's
the
shutting
website.
down, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or you've got like 1,000,001 orders now that you have
All,
to fulfill,
all of a
and you're
sudden
not
now you're
ready.
making Oprah a liar.
Right, right. Like it was
Yeah.
great when Oprah ordered it, and now I order it and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Or I have to wait 3 years to get my order.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
got to be ready.
yeah. So the lesson here is value is not an option, right? You need to build a
Mhm.
business that gives you freedom now and value later. And also, by the
Yeah.
way, it takes 3 years to sell your business. So think about that. Think ahead. Um, okay. All right. So
Like this quote, you don't need to be
let's,
selling your business to make it sellable.
yeah,
I like that.
I like that. I like that too. You
Um,
don't need to be selling your business to make it sellable.
which
Okay.
I think is fantastic because I feel like it's kind of like people with who own homes and they're they're they do all these wonderful repairs and upgrades and everything to make it sellable when they're ready to sell and go to a different house. But all the time that they've been living in the house, it's been substandard and stuff is broken and things look gross and all that. But
Mm.
it's all nice and fixed up for the new owners. But you didn't get to enjoy any of that. I think, I think you should look at that stuff while you're living in the house. Same with your business. Make it
Yeah.
attractive and wonderful while you own it and not
You know,
just ready for when you're ready to sell it. Ready for the
mhm.
next guy to come in and enjoy all the fruits of your hard labor to make it wonderful.
Right. All the sprucing up that you do in order to make it,
Yeah.
sellable. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Could have been doing
Yeah.
that the whole time.
Right.
Um,
Right. It could have been this great and wonderful experience for you in
Mm,
to own this wonderful thriving business that's not sucking the life out of you.
yeah.
But yeah.
So the the founders, a reason that founders struggle isn't through lack of effort, right? It's not through lack of trying. It's
Right.
because they're often out of alignment. There's things that are out of whack. Their customer experience is not tuned properly, right? They haven't really thought through the process. It's not really orchestrated. Um, from generating those leads to when that customer is ready to tell somebody else about you, that needs to be thought through appropriately. But then, of
Absolutely.
course, there's also the process of generating those leads. There's also the process of sending out that message that you want your clients to have, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of steps along the way, that you need to consider.
Mhm.
And like I said, if anything's out of whack in a system, you know, it shows up in lack of proper functioning. Any system, right? That you think about. If you look at your car, for example, as a system, there's something going
Yeah.
wrong, you go and fix it, right? Like you don't, you need that car to be get
Yeah.
around, right? So why wouldn't you do the same thing for your business? So, um,
Absolutely.
and another thing is that maybe the business owner has been trying to do things on their own in isolation instead of getting a proper diagnosis of what's going on in the system, which is something that we help with, by the way. And so maybe consider reaching out for that case. Uh, the assessment that we do that helps identify exactly where what's keeping you down, where your growth ceiling is, and what you need to fix. So stop trying to fix your symptoms in the business. Ask better questions, get better answers, make better decisions. That's from the doctor here.
Dr. Nate.
Yeah. Um, all right. So,
Yeah.
anything else?
Sorry, my mother's making weird comments over here.
Yeah. Um, so our CTAs here, take call us, get a hold of us. You can contact us through various means to take a ticket to sign up for to take a ticket to sign up for an assessment in your business. If you feel like you really need to figure out what the heck is going on, we can help you kind of hone in on some of those problems, what's holding you back, and give you some ideas on steps you can take to fix them. Or, a growth strategy call if you're not quite ready to go in on the assessment right now. Maybe just you have some ideas that you want to bounce off, you want to talk some things through. You can offer that for free, call us up, get in touch, start you on that path, let's say. And of course, as always, sign up for podcast.
Awesome. Yeah. Subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
And if what you heard today was valuable, be sure to, click one of the links in the description. We'll be putting that in there. And then also share this with a friend and use the comment section. Let us know what struck you. Where are you in your business right now? What are the questions that you should be asking yourself right now? And thank you for being with us today. And we'll see you next time.